What is going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Blue, and now that we know the 3 new core features coming to Train Sim World 6, I have a list of around 33 new features I would like to see in Train Sim World 7 and beyond. I gotta be honest though, I don't want to see another Train Sim World game unless it brings massive changes and like real innovation. No more small upgrades, no more recycled features. If we're gonna get a new game, it needs to feel like a true generational leap. So today, I'm breaking down my ultimate wish list of core features that would actually make the next Train Sim worth buying. So let's go ahead and start off with my #1 most requested feature, and that is multiplayer and co-op. I mean, come on, man. Imagine being able to drive together, like maybe multi-crew in certain trains. If needed, you can have even multiplayer conductor mode. Imagine you're driving the train and your friend is the conductor in the back, or maybe multiple conductors in the back, or the other way around. Maybe your friends drive the train and you're the conductor. Like, that would be so cool. Honestly, I would love to see that. We could have either private servers, public servers, and also just being able to drive and see other trains on the routes that are driven by other players. I've played many different train sims that have multiplayer, and there's something special about knowing that, hey, there's another player in that other train. And speaking of that, dispatching would be pretty cool with multiplayer and single player. You'd have multiplayer dispatching similar to SimRail and other titles, or you can have single player dispatching. Like, take the current timetable that we have and manipulate it in some way. Again, I'm not a technical person, I'm not a developer, I don't know how this stuff works, but these are just suggestions, and like, these are my pipe dreams, right? But would love to see the ability to have a single player dispatching mode, and not like some arcade version of dispatching, but like realistic dispatching. That'd be really cool. And also, I think interesting one I have here is career mode, or some sort of mini career mode, like being able to progress with ranks or achievements or reputation, or even like some mode where you can have like an itinerary or a schedule generator, where basically you log in and it's like, hey, these are the 5 services you need to do on this shift, and you go out there and you go find the specific train that you got to run, and you run that train maybe back and forth 5 times, or maybe there's multiple trains you got to hop in between at certain stations, and it kind of makes more longevity, I feel like, in your gameplay session. Right now, I just hop in, I do one service, and then usually I leave. Like, I don't really do the return leg. I don't feel like there's any point of doing a return leg. Once you see the scenery one time, you've seen it. But having like some sort of progression system, or even a schedule to manage, where you know exactly what train you got to run and what you're running next, so it kind of keeps you playing for a little bit longer, I think would be a really cool feature. Now, this is a pretty unique one, and I don't think many people are going to mention this or request this, but replay mode. Especially for us like content creators, or maybe if you're just, you know, a train simmer and you just want to watch your run back, or maybe get a perfect screenshot so you're able to rewind your drive back to the beginning and watch how you missed that station, or how you had a perfect stop, or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to implement replay mode, like the racing games have them, like BeamNG has, where you can, you know, kind of do the run and then run it back and watch it in replay mode for whatever reason you want to do that, for whether it be cinematic purposes or just educational purposes. Again, there's so many different opportunities that would come if we had an ability to watch back our runs. Now, the next one is obviously a big one for me as well, and they kind of tried to do this, but that is VR support. I still can't believe that in 2025, 2026, we still don't have VR for this train sim. Now, they attempted to create a train sim VR, which was horrible, by the way. It was only on the MetaQuest, and they made it into a completely new game, and it just wasn't good. So I would love to see Train Sim World finally get native VR support in the main game. That would be great. Next up, we have another really big one for me, and that is route merging. The ability to connect multiple routes. There are so many routes that have come to Train Sim World in Germany and in the UK and in the US and different locations, that the routes connect. You know, like think about all the routes that come in and out of New York Penn Station. Like, we have like 4 or 5 routes or something like that that all come and converge there. Now they have the route hopping feature where you can walk into this like, you know, alien abducted orb thing and it like spawns you into the next route, but then, you know, all the trains are missing and it's not persistent. Like it completely breaks you out of the immersion. And I don't really personally enjoy the route hopping feature. I rarely use it, but I would love for them to finally kind of link the routes that we have. I love that they're adding route extensions. This is great. But I would love for them to take existing routes that connect and bring them together so we can smoothly and seamlessly drive between routes rather than drive to a station, go be abducted by aliens, hop to another station, and then now we're on the Cajon Pass and all of my other trains are gone. It's just kind of weird. It breaks you out of it. Speaking of persistence, I think a cool feature for Train Sim World would be a persistent world. Imagine being able, I mean, every timetable in Train Sim World is like a 24-hour timetable, right? And usually when you finish a route, you end it, you leave, and then when you start a new timetable service, it resets everything on the map, right? Everything is kind of perfectly placed. And so it'd be cool if there was a way to save your game, right, at the end of a scenario or a timetable service, and then when you come back to that save, everything is exactly how you left it. The weather is the same, all the trains are in the same position. You know, the time, maybe you were late, and so that caused some other delays, so those are persistent as well. You know, this would also open up the door for like being able to have maintenance and actual, you know, fuel matter, because over time those trains will wear out. Over time those trains will need to be refueled and be managed and things like that. Like, it's so many more capabilities that can be brought in, more features that can be brought in the Train Sim world if it just had a persistent world. Now next, let's talk about free roam. They brought in free roam, which I thought was a great feature. I love being able to spawn trains anywhere, but let's get that expanded, and that's my new feature request, is to expand free roam a little bit more, to be able to add stops. Right now you can spawn a train in, and you can kind of choose a destination point, and dispatch will dispatch you to that destination point, and that's really it. And then you kind of have to like simulate stopping at different platforms and doing different things, but it'd be nice to be able to actually make legit stops where passengers get on and get off. And even same thing with other types of loading. Like, imagine loading cargo or doing some sort of coal loading at the coal plant. Like, stuff like that would be cool to be able to incorporate into free roam, so it doesn't feel like you're just driving a pointless train on the route for the sake of just doing so. Like, being able to actually have a purpose on the route while in free roam would be nice, in my opinion. So next we have some sort of in-game economy. I mean, this kind of goes back to the career mode progression system. Like, maybe some way, like let's go back to the schedule concept, right? Say you do a job and you get paid a certain amount of money for the hours you've driven or the miles you've driven, however they want to do that. And then obviously we need somewhere to spend that money. I'm not sure what we would spend it on. Again, these are kind of vague ideas that I'm giving you guys, so let me know if you think that's a good idea at all. Also, I would love a user-friendly route editor. Right now we have the PC editor, which has definitely been a game changer for people who are very technical savvy, or basically game developers out there. They can make their own routes with that, but I would love to have like a more user-friendly, maybe more simple version of the editor, or a route editor for console and for PC that people can actually use. Do little things like maybe you just want to add some track workers to the side of a track and kind of simulate that you have like a closed track. Like, being able to create little scenarios like that rather than just the regular kind of basic scenario planner we have right now. Being able to do a bit more, so a bit more editing capabilities there. Now let's talk about train and simulation. We obviously need better physics in Train Sim World. The passenger trains are not too bad in most cases, but like the freight trains, definitely need better physics, better coupling physics. Also, I know a lot of people really want a Steam overhaul, so I'm definitely putting that on the list. We still need a Steam overhaul with manual firing, just more realistic actual smoke, and just the whole Steam system needs to be reworked and improved. And I feel like it's a really big missed opportunity. There's a lot of Steam train fans out there, and sadly they're being neglected. I would also like to see more train interactions, both inside and outside. I would love to see the toilets flushing. I would love to get access to the toilet areas, more interactions maybe in the cafe carts, also air hoses, like manual connecting of air hoses, angle cocks, like more realistic simulation of coupling and decoupling of trains would be really nice. Maybe more openable doors, like the baggage doors on certain trains, things like that. There's so many things you can do just for interactions, and all I'm asking for is maybe opening and closing things and things like that. I mentioned earlier maintenance. That's also one of my features that I would love to see. But again, maintenance would really only matter if we had a more persistent universe to kind of play in. Right now, you can actually refuel trains. I know mainly like the freight trains can be refueled at the depot, which is a pretty cool feature, but we rarely get scenarios that use the fueling system. And there's pretty much never an opportunity to do that. Now, I'm not asking for a train sim maintenance simulator, but I'm also not asking for a train sim maintenance. Like, that'd actually be pretty cool. Like a train sim mechanic sim. Like, I'd play the heck out of that. Anyways, next, let's talk about, I know we have a lot of these in the US. I'm not sure how this works overseas, but I would love realistic defect detectors along the railroads with the realistic defect detector audio. And this brings me to the faults, which we did just get random faults as a feature in Train Sim World 6. But I'd like to see things like hot boxes or dragging brakes, dragging equipment, stuck brakes. Again, these are things that can be detected by the defect detector. But also more faults like broken knuckles, wheel flat spots, doors getting stuck on passenger trains, fuel leaks, oil leaks, stuck pantographs. Like, there's so many opportunities for random faults. I would love to see them expand that in the near future. And also, I would love to see actual end of train devices or EOT devices. That would be nice to see on trains. And next, let's talk about passengers. I would like to see some improved passenger behavior, smarter passengers, more realistic passengers. We've had the same passenger models for years, so I'd love to see some more maybe character models added, some more variety. And now for scenarios, which tends to be pretty fun, I'll admit, but I would like to see more voiceovers on the scenarios. Come on, it's 2025, 2026. We should have to be reading text on the screen for a game like this. And my next request is to bring back the preservation crew. If you're new to Train Sim World, you may not know what I'm talking about, but we used to have a whole team at Train Sim World that was dedicated to updating and keeping the old routes up to date. From what I understand, that crew has now been disbanded. So I'd love to get that crew back so that some of the older routes that are actually really good could actually get some of these new features that we have in the latest versions of Train Sim World. So bring back the preservation crew. Now let's talk about a few customization options. So I would like to see a interior livery designer, or just give us the ability to actually change more options in the interior of our trains for the livery designer. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but another overhaul of the scenario planner, just improving it. I mean, I know it did get better, but there's, again, a lot more they can do with it to allow us to create much more engaging scenarios rather than just dropping trains in there and making them go different directions. But like, more options would be great. And speaking of more options, more camera options, the ability to change the field of view in the cab, the ability to change the speed of the free camera would be nice as well. And I would love to see the return of the drive-by camera. I feel like that's much needed. And a few more options that I would like to see is, this has been a big request of mine for years, and I don't know if they have heard me or if anyone else has suggested this, but when you have dynamic weather turned on, it always feels like it rains too often. And I would love the ability to have a slider for rain chance probability, or even like fog chance probability, things like that, like a probability slider rather than just toggling on and off dynamic weather. Like, I still don't mind it raining, but like, let me say I only want a 10% chance of rain or a 20% chance of rain. And I want to request the same thing for failures and random events, because I don't want those happening way too often. Like, I do want kind of that unpredictability of like random events and failures happening, but let me decide how often they happen. Let me say, hey, I want only like 20% of the time I want a failure to happen, or on this run, I want to make sure a failure happens, so I want it to be like 90%. You know what I'm saying? So like, having a slider rather than just a toggle on and off would be really nice. Next on my feature list is bridge and tunnel reverb. I think we need better audio when going through different types of environments. Right now, it's just kind of always the exact same engine sound, the exact same horn sound. So it'd be really nice and really immersive if you went through a tunnel and you actually heard the sound completely change and reverberate. That'd be crazy. The next feature is GSMR radios for UK and European trains, like actual working radios, rather than just like a picture in the 3D cockpit. And speaking of pictures in 3D cockpit, I would love for them to finally add like a timetable or even a route map or something, some sort of timetable or route map, usually on the right screen of a lot of the European and UK trains, so you can actually see and follow along with your route and what stops are coming up right there in the cockpit, rather than having to press T or go to pause menu to find out where you're going next. And so yeah, that's my wish list. Some small, some massive, but together these ideas would make the next Train Sim world and games to come feel like a big leap forward that we've all been waiting for. But now it's your turn. Which features do you want to see most? Drop your wish list in the comments below and let's make some noise so the developers know exactly what we're hoping to find in the future of Train Sim world. I will personally make sure they see this list. And until next time, thanks for watching. And remember, you have 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all you got. Peace, love, and God bless you. I will see you guys next time in the next video. I'm out.